ladies and gentlemen. Well, we have more news from the Ohio Train Derailment, and of course, they're not releasing everything that the people need to be safe for, which I am not actually surprised about. What we're going to find out today, this video may be almost as long, probably not. This is going to be pretty quick, I think, in my terms of stuff, but I think what's going to happen is that these people are not being notified of the issues that's happening, any of the toxic waste that's in the water. The people, of course, the government is saying that there is no toxic waste in the water, but obviously there is toxic waste, or it's harmful because fish are dying in the water. Residents are getting fed up with this BS, so there's a lot of concern and stuff going on here. So, without further ado, please watch this video to where you get to see on what's going on, the damage that's being caused, and all that. And we're going to go through it and get this news out so everybody, especially Ohioans, can figure out what's going on here. Because obviously the government, especially Joe Biden, is doing absolutely nothing.
An emergency crews unleashed a controlled release and burn of toxic chemicals to prevent a potentially deadly explosion. Now, some residents who have returned home and this morning sent their kids back to school worry it may be too soon.
How do you feel about being home? Do you feel safe?
There's mixed emotions. I feel like there's not an immediate risk, but I definitely feel like there's a long-term risk as far as things that are seeping into the ground.
Ben just returned home after being evacuated. He has 4 children in the school system.
I want them to be safe. We're being told that things are safe, but it's just deep down you feel like, how can things already be back at a level where we can be back to normal?
The city lifted the evacuation order on February 8th and assured residents that extensive testing shows the air and water are safe. But officials have yet to release a complete manifest of what was aboard the train. Jamie Koza, who lives just steps from the river, is concerned about her 3-year-old daughter and what East Palestine's other children could be exposed to in the water.
I definitely have a right to know what was on that train, to see that manifest, to know what chemicals are in the creek, and also how much.
Now, new details igniting new fears. A letter the Environmental Protection Agency sent to Norfolk Southern revealed the cargo included more potentially hazardous materials than vinyl chloride, chemicals used to make adhesives, plastics, construction materials. The EPA telling the train operator it could be responsible for cleaning up the site. And some experts warn the chemicals could be dangerous.
Potential exposure to that could be detrimental, especially if it's during a critical developmental period or in people that are potentially susceptible to chemical exposures.
All eyes now on Norfolk Southern, the railway company at the center of the disaster. Over the weekend, employing a task force to respond to residents worried about possibly contaminated well water sites, and also offering to test and monitor air quality.
We're going to hold their feet to the fire. This is going to get swept under the rug.
The company did not return our request for comment. Columbiana County has been monitoring East Palestine's groundwater.
Is the environment there safe?
We've had no indication there's been any impacts that could relate to health or safety of our residents.
Still, some residents worry about the potential long-term impact of such a huge derailment and chemical release in the years to come.
I've got a lot of concerns for the impact of the people locally, what it's going to look like not only now, but in the future.
All right, Ron Allen joins Top Story Live tonight. Ron, I know you have some new reporting when it comes to the EPA.
Yes, the state EPA says that they are continuing to do monitoring and that at this point they do not believe that the groundwater or the drinking water has been affected by all this. But of course, residents are still concerned and probably will be for some time.
And that video is concerning of the dead marine life that's in there. I do want to ask you also, are people who live there, they're going to take legal action?
There are multiple lawsuits already underway, class action lawsuits claiming harm to businesses and families, and some residents are requesting medical monitoring and screening. The company, interestingly, just released a statement just a little while ago saying so far that they have helped 700 families, that they've spent $1 million helping with lodging, food, shelter, that they've donated $220,000 to the local fire department to replace equipment that was destroyed, that they've done 340 home air tests, that they're testing well water, so on and so forth. They're trying to say that their assistance centers are going to be open for some time. They're trying to reach every business in the community. They're trying to put their best foot forward. But obviously, in such an emotional situation, residents are going to be concerned for some time to come, I would.
You want it to be safe, but also you want to have peace of mind. Okay, Ron Allen with a lot of new reporting for us. Ron, thank you.
All right, so you have seen all that stuff with there's been more chemicals being released and all that great jazz, and it's just not good. So obviously you guys probably think I'm probably repeating myself, just trying to put the story. No. It has been new info that's been coming out. The chemicals that have been in there, or there is more than that actually. So I'm going to go over this and more of what the public is feeling and the support or non-support that they're getting. And we're going to go with this here. Train that derailed in Ohio carried more toxic chemicals than initially reported. The community of East Palestine was rocked by a February 3rd derailment that forced the evacuation of hundreds of residents before authorities conducted a controlled burn of the Norfolk Southern Railroad train cars chemicals to stop a potential explosion. So what ended up happening was they actually did a burn, and the authorities made it significantly worse. So now the burn is not just in the water, but it's also in the air. So this is a severe problem. Toxins like volatile vinyl chloride, as well as phosphogen and hydrogen chloride, were known to be aboard, but other toxins were also in cars of the train traveling from Illinois to Pennsylvania. The additional chemicals released into the air and soil after the fiery crash included ethanol glycol, multiple ether, ethyl alkali, and isoprotein, according to the outlet citing the U.S. Government Environmental Protection Agency. I don't know how to pronounce some of these words, so I apologize in advance. The chemicals pose various health risks if people were to come in contact with them. So we obviously know what the chemicals are, so we're not going to go too much into that. Evacuation orders ended the last week for East Palestine residents and some nearly Pennsylvania households in the vicinity of the derailment after air and water samples were collected and found to be safe. The EPA said Monday even it has not found any worrisome levels of toxins in the air that can be blamed on the crash, since a controlled burn of toxins were done last week. ABC News reported residents were told to leave before the controlled burn for 5 tanker cars or face death or illness. The community air monitoring will continue 24 hours daily, but as of Sunday night, 291 homes that were screened have not detected any vinyl chloride or hydrogen chloride were identified, the EPA said. Another 181 homes still need to be screened as of Monday, the agency said. EPA's top priority is the health and safety of all communities. Since the initial train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio, we have 6 staff and 6 contractors on the ground to assist with air monitoring actions, the agency said in a tweet. East Palestine Train Conway announced a town hall forum would be held about the train derailment and its aftermath on Wednesday, where residents could question officials about the derailment and its effect on the community. This will be an opportunity for East Palestine residents and those affected in the surrounding areas for question and answer, according to the press release from Conway. So that's what's been going on. But we have more issues here as well that we have from this one. There were more toxic chemicals on train that derailed in Ohio than originally reported, data shows. So it doesn't seem that like there is getting any better on this front. This is by ABC News. So finally ABC and NBC are finally getting their asses in gear and finally starting talking about this a week after, by the way. So, so much good for you. You've done really good job of protecting the people there, NBC. Good job. You guys are severely lacking. And then we have this here. Don't tell me it's safe. Residents of East Palestine expressed fears about returning after it's revealed that there were more toxic chemicals on derailed Ohio train than originally reported, and thousands of livestock are left dead. So, this seems to be a massive issue to where this is going. So we have a chemical explosion here that's mapped, death possible, injury possible, and it seems to be a lot worse. Chemicals leaked, vinyl chloride and phosphogen, all that stuff right there. And it's supposed to be more than this, by the way, guys. These are just probably more actual chemicals that are actually been leaked or released. All that stuff. So, and as we see here, we didn't even learn about the evacuation until my mother called us to let us know they were evacuating. We evacuated pretty quickly. So obviously, this is a thing that's going on. So what's saying, so tell me it's safe, Kathleen Reese, who lives in Niggly, Ohio, just north of the east of Palestine. Pittsburgh last week, something's going on the fish if the fish are floating in the creek. Officials with the Ohio Department of Natural Resources have said that a chemical spill related to the train derailment killed an estimated 3,500 small fish across even 7.5 miles of streams. Meanwhile, one resident of North Lima, more than 10 miles away, said that her 5 hens and roosters died suddenly after a train operator, Norfolk Southern, burned the cars that were carrying vinyl chloride, a known carcinogen. And Jenna Giano's 39, a wedding photographer and nearby Boardman, said she had a persistent cough for the past week and a half. She has only been drinking bottled water and is uncomfortable using tap water to bathe. This is a severe problem. They're lying to people in mass. They only evacuated only 1 mile from that space, and that's just insane to me. I'm concerned with the long-term health impact, she added. It's just a mess. Sil Caggiano, a hazardous material specialist and former fire department chief, also said he was surprised residents were allowed to return home so quickly before all their homes were tested. I would have far rather they did all the testing first, he said. There's a lot of what ifs, and we're going to be looking at this 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the line and wondering, gee, cancer clusters could pop up, well water could go bad. He added, we basically nuked the town with chemicals so we could get a railroad open. A chemical smell still lingers in the area as some of the residents refuse to return home. As they should. This is a massive problem, guys. And what we also have here is that Ohio residents hit by wave of sickness after train carrying toxic chemicals exploded and engulfed surrounding neighborhoods in black smoke. Health concerns for Ohio residents are growing after a train carrying toxic chemicals and crashed and engulfed surrounding neighborhoods in black smoke. Each Palestine resident, Melissa Henry, told the Associated Press her youngest son's eyes turned red as a tomato and he was coughing a lot before the family evacuated to her parents' house outside the evacuation zone. Another resident in North Limit, roughly 10 miles from the train derailment, had her chickens die. Blah, 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 blah. We don't really learn about that one. So, people are getting sick from this, guys, already, and it's only a bit a week afterwards. This is insanity. That this is going on. So why is the president of the United States not talking about this, and why is he not putting it on a red alert and a high evacuation orders among many other things? Because this is complete insane. The evacuation orders, these people need to be given homes and stuff like that so they can be evacuated completely and have thorough testing and all the people on it. Red Cross needs to be involved. FEMA needs to be involved. All these people need to be involved. It does not take a week to get this done, guys. It's completely absurd and a complete misuse and an embarrassment of the government. And we also have this here. Just in, woman finds all her chickens dead 10 miles from East Palestine, Ohio. Following the major deadly release of toxins, the chickens slowed down and died. If it can do this to chickens in the night, imagine what it would do us in 20 years. Yeah, I don't think this is going to be a very pretty thing in 20 years. I don't think it's going to be a pretty thing within the next 6 months. So, a lot of stuff needs to be going through here. And here's the video of them actively talking about this stuff.
This is what I found. Amanda Brashears was going to feed her 5 hens and rooster this morning when she discovered them all lifeless, practically in the same position, with no signs of a predator entering their enclosure.
I'm beyond upset and quite panicked because they may be just chickens, but they're family.
Brashears says her chickens were alive and well yesterday. She believes the smell following the detonation of the train carrying chemicals that derailed in East Palestine is to blame for her birds' sudden death.
My video camera footage shows my chickens were perfectly fine before they started this burn. And as soon as they started the burn, my chickens slowed down and they died. If it can do this to chickens in one night, imagine what it's going to do to us in 20 years.
Yeah. So, this is a severe cause of concern, and I think this needs to really happen. So even we go on Twitter, it's called Ohio Chernobyl, and this type of stuff really needs to be addressed, I would say, right now. There's no reason to be held on to this. Hawaiians, you have my support. Hopefully everything goes well for you. Hopefully there is no negative side effects for you guys at all, and you guys are all becoming healthy. I am with you guys because this is disgusting. And by the way, if some people are thinking like, oh, well, you're just caring for this because they're a Republican state or whatever, I don't care if they're Republican or Democratic state. At the end of the day, we are supposed to be here together and supposed to be here together when things awry happens. And this is no time to put in politics or anything for that matter into play. I'm not trying to talk politics here at all because this is something that needs to be addressed to more in terms of how we can fix this, how we can prevent this from happening again, and get these people help as fast as humanly possible. Politics has no place in this right now, and whether they were Democratic or Republican, again, I would say the same thing. So I don't come with me with that bullshit, all right? All right, guys, take care. Like, subscribe, share, and take care.